What if I told you that in the official records of the United States, there is a case where a death was attributed not to a person, not to a disease, but to a spirit? This isn't just a ghost story whispered around a campfire. This is the tale of the Bell Witch, America's most documented haunting, and the malevolent entity that tormented a family, held a community in the grip of fear, and ultimately committed murder. The story begins not in a crumbling Gothic mansion, but on a sprawling farm in Robertson County, Tennessee. The year is 1804, and John Bell, a respected farmer from North Carolina, has just moved his family to a piece of land along the Red River. For over a decade, the Bells lived a peaceful pioneer life, carving out their existence and raising their children. They were a normal, church-going family, completely unaware that the very ground beneath their feet would soon become the stage for one of the most terrifying hauntings in American history. The trouble started subtly in the summer of 1817. While inspecting his cornfield, John Bell encountered a bizarre animal he couldn't identify, describing it as having the body of a dog and the head of a rabbit. He shot at the creature, but it simply vanished. That same evening, the family began to hear strange sounds, a faint beating on the outside walls of their home. Night after night, the noises grew louder, more insistent. It sounded like knocking, scratching, and chains being dragged across the floor. The family searched, but found no earthly explanation. Soon, the unseen force turned its attention inward. The children would wake up screaming, their blankets ripped from their beds. The youngest daughter, Betsy, became a primary target. She was slapped, pinched, and had her hair violently pulled by an invisible assailant, often leaving visible welts and handprints on her body. A voice from the shadows. The haunting escalated from physical torment to psychological warfare. The entity began to speak. At first, it was just faint whispers, like an old woman singing hymns. But its voice grew stronger, eventually becoming loud and clear, carrying on intelligent conversations, quoting scripture, and even accurately mimicking the sermons of two different preachers given miles apart on the same day. The entity claimed its name was Kate, and many believed it to be the spirit of a disgruntled neighbor, Kate Batts, who had a dispute with John Bell over a land deal. Kate, as the Bell Witch came to be known, developed a distinct personality. She could be playful, but was most often malicious and cruel. A community under siege. John Bell, a proud man, had sworn his family to secrecy, but the torment became too much to bear. He confided in his friend and neighbor, James Johnston, who, after spending a night in the house and experiencing the terror firsthand, agreed that the family was being plagued by an evil spirit. Word spread like wildfire. People came from hundreds of miles away, hoping to witness the famous Bell Witch. The legend even reached the ears of a man who would one day be president, General Andrew Jackson. Intrigued, Jackson and his men paid a visit to the farm in 1819. As their wagon approached the property, it suddenly stopped, and the horses were unable to move it an inch. It was as if they were held by an unseen force. After a man in his entourage who claimed to be a witch tamer was violently attacked by the spirit, a shaken Jackson reportedly declared, "I'd rather fight the British at New Orleans than the Bell Witch." While Kate showed a strange kindness toward John's wife Lucy, calling her the most perfect woman living, she harbored a deep, violent hatred for John Bell himself. She tormented him relentlessly, calling him Old Jack Bell and vowing to kill him. John Bell's health began to fail. He suffered from seizures, difficulty swallowing, and was often struck by the entity. In December of 1820, after being confined to his bed for some time, John Bell fell into a coma and died on December 20th, 1820. Soon after his death, the family found a strange vial with a dark liquid inside. The spirit's voice shrieked with glee, taking full credit for his death, claiming she had poisoned him. The entity's taunts continued through the funeral, with its disembodied voice heard laughing and singing as John Bell was laid to rest. After John Bell's death, the entity's presence slowly faded. It promised to return in 7 years, and some accounts say it did in 1828, before vanishing again with a promise to return one last time in 1935. So what truly happened on that Tennessee farm over 200 years ago? Skeptics suggest it could have been an elaborate hoax, or perhaps a case of mass hysteria in a deeply superstitious community. Some theories point to Richard Powell, the local school teacher who was in love with Betsy Bell, as possible orchestrator using ventriloquism. Yet supernatural explanations endure. Believers point to the sheer number of witnesses and the highly documented nature of the events as proof of a genuine haunting. Was it a poltergeist, a demon, or the vengeful spirit of Kate Batts? To this day, the Bell Witch is cited as the only case in American history where a spirit has been officially blamed for a person's death. The mystery has spawned countless books and movies, and visitors to the Bell Witch Cave in Adams, Tennessee, still report strange occurrences, from disembodied voices to unsettling apparitions. The story of the Bell Witch forces us to confront the boundaries of our own belief.